Let's get after it in Major League Baseball today, people. Let's start in Baltimore, Boston, and Baltimore, which you saw yesterday, a 4-3 victory here by the Boston Red Sox as they handled business, trying to stay in that race in the AL East. If we look at the line today, Joe, it's roughly a pick 'em depending where you're shopping at. It's Giolito versus Bradish. Hey, haven't heard that name in a while, Bradish. Yeah, he's coming back from Tommy John surgery, and he's got quite a mixed bag. We're going to go over in just a few moments here. The total of this game opened up at 9, Joe, but it does sit now at 8.5. Giolito, last 60 days, decent ERA, 3.42. Analytics don't love him. But if we look at Bradish coming back, because sometimes you don't know how they're going to handle like coming back from Tommy John. He had a couple starts in high A rookie ball, a start in double A, and then into triple A. His triple A starts, Joe, between building up to getting back to Major League Baseball. On August the 3rd, he started in triple A. 3 innings pitched, 7 runs, 5 of those earned. Then he went 3 2/3 innings pitched, gave up 6 hits and 3 earned runs. Then he had a decent start on the 14th of the month, Joe. He had 5 innings pitched, 2 hits, no earned runs. And then his last start, 4 2/3 innings pitched, 6 hits, 3 earned runs here. ERA, which includes rookie ball, at close to 5. Sometimes they're hard to calculate how it's going to factor in. But I can't go with Baltimore in this game with Bradish coming back, talking about a 5 ERA, coming back from Tommy John. How long is he even pitching for in this game?
Yeah, see, I don't know, but that's the problem is I'm also not expecting Giolito to continue with what he has got going on here. At some point, I do think there's regression coming for Giolito, as well as this Boston bullpen that, has pitched way above their pay grade and stats over the last couple of weeks here. But you're right. What are you going to get from Bradish? You don't know. What I do know is Baltimore has had a ton of success against Giolito over the last couple of years. That was a close one last night. The home run ends up doing him in. Baltimore should have won that game. But, yeah, why not? I mean, a plus money, I'll take a shot on Kyle Bradish out pitching Giolito. Who knows what we're going to get?
I don't know what you're going to get today out of Mackenzie Gore, but I don't think it's going to be something too good here. Washington takes on New York. Yesterday, I think it was a 10-0 game entering into the top of the 9th inning. Now, I didn't have Washington, but you know what's nice? We need a team total to come through when the game is out of whack. Like, I don't know, the Phillies and the Mets game, you couldn't squeeze out 1 run, Philadelphia Phillies, but the Nationals can get 5 runs and they're top of the 9th. All right, get back to the game. Gore versus Heel, 925, 926 on the rotation, a 7 o'clock start, a minus 180 plus favorite here for the New York Yankees, and a total that's listed at 9. Gore, some of his numbers. Last 60 days, batting average against 287, not good. ERA minus 153. ERA 6.44. Sierra 4.84. Tell me the Yankees aren't just going to blow up Mackenzie Gore tonight. What's going on here, Joe?
Oh, they are. Make no mistake about it. I mean, listen, the Yankees may not do a lot of things well, but one thing they do well is they draw walks and they hit home runs and make you pay for them. In fact, they are leading the league this month in walk rate and in home runs. So that is a recipe for disaster because Gore, as good as he may be and can be, he's walked 19 batters here over his last 7. I mean, at times, he just can't find the plate. The Yankees are going to make him work. The Yankees have been much better this year against left-handed pitching. So to me, if you don't want to lay the price, I'm taking the Yankee team total because if they don't get the Gore, they're getting to that bullpen of the Nats, which is just borderline atrocious.
Exactly. You should be able to hit. You should be able to stack right-handed batters up. Mackenzie Gore is not very good even against left-handed batters. We'll see how it turns out in the Bronx, but the expectations of 15 runs last night, to get 15 today, we'll certainly find out. Minnesota and Toronto, Ober on the mound versus Bassett. Heavy favorite for Toronto today, minus 160 price overnight. We're now seeing the marketplace as high as 170s at BetMGM. A total of 8 overnight now has increased to 8.5, as you see on that graphic today. If we're looking at Ober, it's a little bit of a mixed bag at this point right now. You take a look at Bassett, okay pitcher at this point right here. Toronto needs victories, Joe, and I think sometimes you hit the nail on the head. Teams eventually give way when there's nothing left to really play for, and is that the Minnesota Twins?
Yeah, well, you got 2 franchises going in totally different directions right now. So Vladdy comes back, right? That lineup at home at the Rogers Center destroys Joe Ryan there. Scherzer gives him 6 innings again and gives him the lead. The bullpen comes in. They score enough. The thing with Bassett is on the road, he's a fade for me. He's 8-0 at home with a 2.73 ERA. This is a mismatch of sorts. Ober has been better his last couple of games, but Bassett has been lights out at home, and the bats, they hit better Toronto at the Rogers Center. So I don't see any reason, if it ain't broke, don't fix it with Toronto.
We'll see what happens. If it ain't broke, don't fix here for the New York Mets. Get down a couple runs here, storm back against the Philadelphia Phillies. The Phillies don't do anything against the bullpen for 2 straight days. I can digress. We could keep going on that, but we don't have to. It's Luzardo on the mound today as the lefty going up against Sean Manaea, the lefty. 9:03, 9:04, 7:10 start at Citi Field. Roughly a pick 'em, Joe, across the board, depending on where you're shopping at. An 8 overnight. Some 8.5s are now in the betting landscape as well. Do we see 9 runs? Luzardo's been good. Manaea hasn't been that great, but the Philadelphia Phillies really had a chance to put that fork yesterday in the Mets, and they weren't able to do so. Can they beat the Mets tonight? It's a pick 'em.
Yeah, it would be all Phillies for me, as long as Luzardo isn't somehow tipping his pitches again. But if he's not, the Mets struggle against lefties. Sanchez was a little wild last night, but I think Luzardo certainly should have some success here. Not to mention, I believe Donnie Strahm, Duran, Kerkering, all the leverage guys in the bullpen for the Phillies will be available here tonight. So I think this is an opportunity for them to bounce back against Manaea, who really can't go more than 5 innings, and that means that bullpen of the Mets will have to get involved. I like Philadelphia to bounce back in this one.
Yeah, I mean, they need to bounce back or do something. That's 2 straight days that I take a look at the Philadelphia Phillies that really burned me. Scoring early and not doing anything against an average to below average bullpen. And even last night, like Stanek comes into the 9th inning. I can't get anybody out. He got 3 Phillies out back to back to back, which is just the way it goes. Now, if we look at the game tonight, what do you think about the futures part of this? Because if you give a team life, they sort of rebound for September. Instead of them just worrying about like the Cincinnati Reds, they might be able to focus on the Phillies. You beat them last night, it's 8 games. You beat them tonight, it's 9. They're not even looking at they're saying, you know what? Let's just get out of the series and focus on the Reds, and hopefully everything's going to be okay down the stretch. How do you feel this game goes just from the psyche of a Mets perspective if they can pick up the win?
I think it all depends on, are they playing from in front or behind in this one here, Donnie? I think it's important to get off to a good start for both these teams.
Alec Bone, looking at you. You want to meet up? We can run sprints. We can have fun. We can do it all. We can score from first base, people. We can also score with more runs next on this. Right back at here on a Tuesday morning. Come on, handicap in Major League Baseball, getting upset about teams that didn't perform for you. I don't know, maybe 3 for 17 runners in scoring position over the past 2 days with 17 runners left on base for the Phillies. Might make you a little bit angry when you wake up in the morning, but that's neither here nor there. We can have a whole Phillies show if you want. I can make it happen. Trust me, I can. We got other baseball teams to talk about. Arizona and Milwaukee. Brandon False on the mound going up against The Miz. It used to be nobody beats The Miz. Now everybody beats The Miz, and he barely even lasts in baseball games. Mizorowski is a favorite today, Joe, around a minus 150 to minus 160 price, depending where he's shopping, and a total of 8 here. Milwaukee got the bats cranked up again last night. You can't stop this team at the plate. Can Brandon Pfaadt stop this team or slow the Milwaukee Brewers down at the plate today?
Well, I mean, listen, it worked out perfectly for the Brewers and Brandon Woodruff yesterday. They played from in front. They got to Rodriguez early and often. And let's face it, that's what they're going to have to do for their rookie pitcher here, too, is I think they need to start fast, get to Brandon Pfaadt, who is awful on the road this year, and score some runs. Let Mizorowski be able to get into a rhythm without it being a nothing game. Wouldn't shock me if eventually this game does hit an over, because I do think some runs might be coming. But it's, again, 2 teams going in totally different directions, Donnie. I like the Brewers once again, but I like them early. I like them in the first 5 to get it done.
See what happens here for the Brew Crew. But you want to talk about hitting with runners in scoring position? They do it in Milwaukee.
Yep.
Just don't do it in Philadelphia. Yeah, we'll keep it up, Philadelphia Phillies. You keep it up right now. We'll just start to get really angry on this show. Los Angeles Angels and the Texas Rangers. Kikuchi versus Corbin, 2 lefties on the mound today. 8:05 start. How about this? Pick them across the way. Kikuchi has been a decent pitcher, but Patrick Corbin looked like he was rebounding, Joe. Now he's rebounding back to what we all thought he was, a pitcher that might not be Major League Baseball quality, because I have Corbin over the past 60 days at a 5.31 ERA. Can the Angels take advantage of Patrick Corbin on the mound and come away with a road victory today?
Well, again, we mentioned it, Donnie, last time Corbin pitched last week, and I said, listen, he's amazing season. Nobody saw it coming, but the signs of regression are there for Corbin. He is slowing down at this point. And you can see it over his last couple of starts. He's been getting crushed here. I don't see any reason against Kikuchi to fade that right now. So to me, I think the Angels in the first 5 is very much alive because I trust the Angels to get to Corbin before Kikuchi, or Texas rather, can get to Kikuchi.
Me too. I think you're right with that, Joe. I absolutely think you're right on this point. I think the better team is the Angels today. Can they step up? Well, it leaves a lot to be desired, but we're no longer like, hey, Corbin's not pitching pitching the contact and doing well. He's getting hammered as of late. Let's see if the Angels can certainly come up with some runs here. We had a lot of runs last night in the Pacific Northwest in a ballpark, Joe, that usually doesn't surrender all that many runs. San Diego today, Mariners today, still in cease going up against Luis Castillo. 9:29, 9:30 on the rotation, a 9:40 start tonight, 7.5 at the opening number. Most outlets now showing at least an 8. If we look at the side, it's still a pick 'em now on both sides here. Cease and Castillo, big stakes in this series for these two West Coast ball clubs.
Yeah, both guys have big regression signs here. There's nothing to like about what you're getting from Dylan Cease, although he is 3-1 this month. Did just beat the Giants on Thursday. He's only faced Seattle one other time, but I don't know. Castillo's always been a bet-on guy at home in that ballpark, but I thought we were getting runs in this game, not last night's game, so I might continue to stick with the over in this spot.
Yeah, it's funny, too, because you look at Dylan Cease, like, analytically, like, they love him. Like, he's almost like 12 Ks per 9 innings, which is like a dreamboat for analytics guys. But then you take a look at the other statistics, ERA minus at a 125. That's really high. How about an ERA over the past 60 days, Joe? 5.05. Yep. His SIERA number is manageable, and his XFIP number is decent. But the analytical numbers say, hey, we like you because you strike people out. But the eye test tells you, all right, well, strike 3 guys on to give up a 2-run bomb. What the heck? Like, what's analytical that you got to like about that, Joe?
Yeah. I agree. And that's been the head scratcher with him all year long. He looks like a shell of himself, even though the numbers say he's not really that far off. I don't like him on the road.
No, certainly don't. And just take a look at the standings and how key they are. You take a look at the Mariners, a game and a half back from the Houston Astros. The time to win is now. They've won their past 2 games trying to close that gap on the Astros as the Astros get back Yordan Alvarez as well. But looking at the Padres, you have the Dodgers like in your rearview mirror, in your rearview mirror. It would be nice for them to get like a 2-game lead and sort of put the pressure on the Dodgers. But every time we think they're ready to go after it, they just slip right behind the Dodgers again. Let's see if they can make that game up today. But more Major League Baseball handicapping is coming your way on the early line. The early line, you never know who's going to show up. You never know what the surprise is. You never know who's going to brighten your morning right here on the Sports Grid Network. With Joe Ranieri and myself, we try to do the best we can to sort of get the day kicked off in the right direction. And then as the day moves on, you need that energy pick-me-up right around 6:30 p.m. Eastern. That's Game Time Decision. We have the host of Game Time Decisions here. It's Kevin Walsh. What are you doing, man? Good to see you.
Great to see you guys. Excited to be here. You're breaking down a full baseball card. Are you celebrating Futures Day, fellas?
Ah, yeah. I mean, futures, $10. Tie up your money for 6 months for $10 and don't even know who you actually took at this point. It's a big Futures Day here. By the way, I do enjoy heading up to the Kevin Walsh Memorial Studios there in Bellworks and having shows on college football. Like I used to seeing you around the studios, haven't seen you there. So maybe it's that time to get involved again.
I heard you were throwing a real fit. Your headset wasn't where you had last left it.
They tried me.
You were real upset. You were trying to get chairs moved around.
Yep.
You know what I told everybody? Good work. Shook a couple of hands, liked what I was hearing.
Exactly. That headset got removed immediately. I told Joe to buck up and sit up in that chair and like it. In 3, 2, 1, we were live. Now, let's get to the good stuff here because we had a little kinship last night. The Philadelphia Phillies, Kevin, I picked up my phone as a double went down the line. I was going to text in, ooh, that's another winner. 3.5 team total on the Phillies. Boy, was that easy. They didn't score the rest of the way. Then I see a tweet because as old as I am at 47 years old, sometimes I still can't sleep when I lose wagers I should win. You had something happen to you last night that was absolutely stunning. On a team that scored 13 runs last night, you weren't even like you didn't even need base hits. You just needed a dude to wind up on base and get knocked in from somebody. Francisco Lindor went 0 for 6 with 3 strikeouts at the top of that order for a team that not only just busted up the Phillies, they scored in the 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. and you got nothing. You didn't even get one HRR from my guy Lindor last night.
So you're in the market more frequently than I am, Donnie.
Yeah.
So maybe
Yes.
you've seen this. I've never seen. First of all, half of the reason because I also bet the Mets yesterday. About 80% of that was probably how hot Francisco Lindor was. I believe the quote I said on Game Time was, well, the Mets go as he goes. Lie. That's just not true. Apparently, nothing that he does matters whatsoever. Not only was it that every other starter had 2+ hit or an RBI, pinch hitter Brett Beatty ended up with 2+ because he had multiple runs scored. I cannot believe that arguably the best player on the Mets in a game they scored 13 finished 0 for 6 while the rest of the whole lineup ate.
Tough scene.
Who do you have more faith in, Kev? American League or National League when it comes to who's going to make the postseason or not? It feels like the American League is going to change over the next 5 weeks, every other day. The National League, maybe not so much.
It's so tough because the Cincinnati Reds, so for full context, I took the Reds as a World Series future before the season, looking for a long, shot. I wanted long odds if I was going to actually be willing to go against the Dodgers. And this team is impossibly frustrating. They have to have the worst record of any team in the history of baseball to go this long without being swept. Because realistically, what actually matters, you can get swept, sweep a team. They're the kings of the 1 and 2. Like, again, usually great teams, it's like, listen, we take 2 out of 3, 2 out of 3. They're like, nope, 1 out of 3. It is maddening to see this Cincinnati Reds team act this way. With that said, though, Joe, they've hung around all year. And it's really a matter of, does a team fully collapse? Like, the Mets have had moments where it looked like it would be them. Maybe the Cubbies have had a moment. Is there still enough time for a Padres maybe to slump out of the playoffs? That's really the question, because it doesn't look like Cincinnati at any point is going to hunt someone down, but they may be there with enough time to catch that falling knife and sneak into the National League.
Yeah, I thought last night would have been a nice opportunity. Had the pitcher on the mound, you should have knocked around Sheehan dominates him. It's like, yeah, that's what you get on the Reds on a night-to-night basis. You never know what you're getting with the Reds. Now it's time, Joe, to get back on that high horse. Yesterday, oh, man, the Phillies let me down with a 3-0 lead on my best bet of the day here. Not going to happen again. Let's go to bye. What do the people need to know, Joe, to put some money in their pocket? Where are we going?
Well, we got it last night there back in Toronto, and Scherzer early against Joe Ryan in Minnesota. I'm going to head out west, though, and this is, come on, if it ain't broke, people, can we not fix it here? Verlander and the Giants at home taking on Boyd and the Cubs. We're talking about a Giants team at home that has lost 15 of their last 17 home games. Verlander at 42 years old is a shell of his former self. Not to mention that the Cubs, coming off of a pretty good week there against the Brewers, kept those bats rolling and maybe getting heated back up at exactly the right time out west here. No way am I going against the Cubs in this spot at this price. It should be higher. I think Boyd obviously keeps the runs down against the Giants, who can't hit left. They can't hit anybody, really. But I think the Cubs bats are starting to make a turnaround. Advantage Cubs at that price. I'll take them on the money line.
Like what you're saying there. For me, I'm going to go with Mitch Keller and Andre Palante in a fade here. I'm going over Cardinals and Pirates. I have pitcher 21 and 22 on my card out of 25, pitching in the same game. Yes, they are 2 bad lineups. I understand that. 2 bad lineups should be able to hit 2 bad pitchers, and I should be able to get the 9 runs. And we will do that and get a sweep on the card today.